So that wasn't that cool.
This is going live, but then, okay, yeah, it's there.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to refresh and just see. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you say hi. That way I can say hi to you. And don't forget, also, you got to hit the like and then share it. Tweet it out on the liberal Twitter platform so that us conservatives have a voice. Anyway, let's see here. Good evening and God bless everyone this wonderful weekend, says Danny. Well, thank you very much. Okay, so.
Phyllis says, hello, world.
Hello, world. All right. All right, so hi, everybody. If you don't know who I am Stacy Lynn Harp, MS. Yeah, I am. That doesn't matter. Anyway, glad you're here. I'm the host of the show. If this is the first time that you have tuned into the broadcast, I want to thank you for tuning in. I co-host this show with my husband, Randall, a.k.a. Bareface Harp. And that's him right there. I meant there. That's him right there. Yes. Anyway, I always get this.
On your left.
I know. It's just... You're across the table from me, though.
But on the screen.
He's literally across the table. So I was... Anyway, that's Randall. He's my husband of 28 short years.
Good save there.
Yeah. And anyway, so tonight what we're going to do is... First thing I want to do is say thank you for coming to the show. If you want to stay in touch with me personally, join my text message list. That's the best place to get me. I'm not on Twitter tons, and... if you're on Facebook, you can follow us on Bible News Radio on Facebook, on YouTube. You can subscribe over there. We're on Twitch, right? .live, I think. I don't know. Twitch. We're other places. But anyway, the best place to communicate with me, honestly, is on my text message list. So text Bible News to 33222, and if you watch the ticker down there, it will come up eventually. So you can just do that, or you can send me your phone number directly, and I can add it for you if you don't know how to do that. All right.
Oh, the call-in number's still on there. I need to take that off. I was probably going all last night, people calling in and wondering why nobody answered the phone. Probably a lot of voicemails there.
I don't think anybody cared last night. Okay. But anyway, here's the thing. So you just saw that patriotic, Marine song. I thought that was kind of cool. I thought, you know what? That is pretty cool. That's an older video, but I thought it was neat. And, of course, today what we're going to do is talk about the Supreme Court of the United States nominee. Yeah, we are. And I have to tell you that I think it's going to be an interesting thing. So, before we get into this, let me ask you to put a number 1 wherever you're at if you saw this live and you didn't already see President Trump speak about Amy. I'm asking for a reason because honestly, the live people here, I don't want you to have to look at this a million times if you've already seen it. But what I will tell you, okay, so Sean did. Hello, Sean. Sean Moochie. Sean Moochie, Coochie, Moochie. Just kidding about the Coochie part, Moochie. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist, Sean. My brother's name is Sean, so I have to pick on you, even because you spell it wrong. But anyway, go Yankees. Anyway, I also have to say that, what was I going to say? Oh, that I watched this big long interview of Amy. It was actually 45 minutes. And I learned some interesting things. So I will tell you a little bit about her in case you don't know some of this stuff. Because I thought, I'm going to, this lady has been nominated to the Supreme Court of the United States to replace Justice Ginsburg, who has been resting in peace all weekend, or all week. And who was a woman who smashed the glass ceiling, unlike Hillary Clinton, who couldn't become president of the United States. God blessed Justice Ginsburg, a Jewish lady with that illustrious achievement.
She didn't become president of the United States.
No, she did not, but she was on the Supreme Court, and she had a lot to do with women's rights. And even though she was a flaming liberal, and I disagreed with pretty much everything she stood for, she was still a woman, so, But anyway, Amy Coney Barrett was nominated today by President Trump. Let me tell you a little bit about her based on this interview I just watched. So she is the oldest of 7 children, the oldest of 29 grandchildren. She is a Catholic, which you may have surmised from some of the introduction that took place. Her least favorite word in the world is impactful, which, I just told Randall this, and he hates that word, and he just said, gosh, too bad she isn't single, or whatever. Anyway, she has 7 children. She's married to a husband who is an attorney as well. She's adopted 2 children from Haiti, and the reason why she chose Haiti is because it's relatively close to the United States and very poor and easy to travel to. And one of those children, she actually shared in an interview that she almost didn't get because of the paperwork and some stuff. But then when I think she said it was the earthquake that hit over there a couple of years back, she actually got the child. So that was pretty cool. She's highly respected on both sides of the aisle, as you guys know. She served already as a judge, and everybody loves her. And she actually said at the end of this interview that she gave, which was about a 40-minute interview, that she wants to be remembered as someone who loved well. And I thought, you know what? That's pretty cool. She wants to be remembered as somebody who loves well. President Trump said earlier today that if she is approved, I forgot the right word. What's the word? Okay. It's
confirmed.
Confirmed that if she is confirmed, she will be the first woman Supreme Court justice to be a mother of school-age children, which, by the way, her children are from, I think, first grade all the way through senior. So that's like a full house, people. And what I have to say is that this is pretty impressive. She doesn't see herself as somebody real special. She said that. But, if she actually speaks French fluently, in case you didn't know that. She was going to be an English teacher. In fact, she majored in English and minored in French. Her mom happened to be a French teacher, I think. And anyway, long story short, she said if she was going to ever try another career, that it would be as a teacher, as an English teacher. And she said everything math, is not her. And also medical. She gets very squeamish at stuff like that, which that would nix her right there for Randall, because Randall's he wants a tough woman that can look at blood and guts and surgeries and stuff, and that's not me either. It's good that we don't know certain things when we marry our spouse. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm not a blood and guts kind of person. Gratuitous violence. I mean, if there's driving by a horrific accident or something, I don't want to see it. I don't look at that. It's different when it's happening on the street or whatever, or in a movie. The gratuitous violence, I'm totally unnecessary. But if there's something going on in an operating room, something like that, an emergency room, where the person is being helped, that there's an effort going on to save the leg or save a life, or the heart surgery or knee surgery, whatever is going on. To me, that's fascinating. Then it's a whole different thing going on.
Have you ever seen him play Operation? I have, people. Do you know how many times he actually hits the buzzer with the little twitters? All right. Anyway, Danny gave us some super hearts. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
That was so sweet.
Nice.
Only we need 10 million more of those to cash out. But hey,
but hey,
I think that's great.
Hopefully they're a trendsetter.
And Sam wants to know if I'm psychic. I don't know, Randall. You have you've known me a long time. Do you think I'm psychic?
Sidekick? No, I'm the sidekick on this show.
Psychic.
I think women there's such thing as women's intuition, which is really just heightened perception due to an intact corpus callosum. That
I actually have very good intuition, which as I've gotten older, I've listened to more and better. Yeah, so
As far as an extrasensory perception,
yeah.
no. I mean, there's
Anyway,
a spiritual. Sometimes people are given a word of knowledge.
so
Anyway,
so let's see. Daryl did, Sean did. Did anybody else? I just want to make sure. Okay, it doesn't look like everybody else actually saw this. So Randall, are you gonna play that video?
what
The
video?
the video of our president nominating Amy for the Supreme Court seat. Do I have to find it for you?
I can look for it.
Okay. Well, you look for it
Mm,
while I talk.
okay.
So, if you were with us last night, what you noticed was I wore that hat right there that Tommy gave me. And I have to tell you, I live in Tennessee, in case you didn't know that. Tennessee is being infiltrated by Californians that hate California because it's so liberal and run by a crazy, insane governor who really has lost his mind. I mean, seriously. I mean, have you been to California lately? Anyway, all around my neighborhood, there's like one Biden Harris sign. It's like this big lone sign in the middle of nowhere where nobody, it's not surrounded by anything. But President Trump memorabilia, I didn't say that right. When I was a child, I couldn't talk well. I had a lisp. I had to overcome it. Sometimes I can't say words, okay? Let's say memorabilia. Okay, wait. So, anyway, Trump. What's the right word? Memorabilia. I can't. Merchandise. There we go. I'm just going to say merchandise because I can say that word. Okay, so anyway, all around me in this area where we live, just south of Nashville, there are these big booths of Trump merchandise popping up all over the place. It's kind of hilarious. I think some of the liberals around here are, having a hard time. Anyway, yeah. So Bareface, you let me know when you're ready.
I'm just trying to find the best one.
Okay. So anyway, so why is this important? Why is the Supreme Court nominee important? Right? I mean, I'm no scholar at all. I mean, I do have a master's degree in clinical psychology, but aside from that, I'm not really a scholar, but I am a student of culture and the news and media. And, here's what I know. If when she is confirmed, right? I'll just say Amy. When Amy is confirmed, it's going to be very interesting because it will literally be for the first time, I think, in my life that the Supreme Court will way to the right? Correct? Okay. Now, a lot of people are wondering if having her on the bench, if Roe v. Wade decides to come up for a whatever you want to call it, I don't know the legal term, but for a vote or whatever to get overturned, will that happen? It's interesting. I would love to see Roe v. Wade overturned. I totally would. I'm 100,000,000% opposed to abortion in any form, shape, circumstance. I don't think abortion is, it's evil. I mean, and I'm a barren woman, right? So what I'm going to tell you is, especially as a barren woman, it irritates me when I know that women who have been able to conceive go ahead and murder their kid. I mean, that just, as a barren woman, that's like a a massive insult to me. I don't take it personally, but I just find it odd that God made women life givers, and for a woman for a woman to take a life that way, it goes against what God made us naturally to be, right? I mean, I just think it's awful. And adoption is the option. That's right. And nobody ever talks about adoption. And I think that's one of the most admirable things about this nominee, honestly. And not just adopting somebody of a different culture, but also a child that has Down syndrome. So, that's a child that's going to be special needs and they're going to need help their whole life. I mean, that's admirable. I mean, somebody who has that big of a heart, and love for people, honestly, I think it's great. But Amy has been touted as having one of the most sharpest legal minds of our age. She's 48, so she's a few years younger than me. And she's a firstborn, which, of course, firstborns rule the world, just so you know. I mean, that's that is what it is. But will Roe v. Wade, be overturned? We don't know, but I would love to see it overturned. I've heard different commentators say, well, there's no way it would be. But here's what I will tell you could happen. What could happen is maybe, just maybe, as the church decides to humble itself and pray and repent and begin to live in a moral way, and all of that, maybe, just maybe, the Lord will bless our land and we'll have another massive revival. And with that comes righteousness, because repentance in a nation has to come from the top down. And if we have the majority of the Senate vote her and confirm her in, and President Trump asked the media and the Democrats to be nice, essentially, hey, which is really sad, don't you think? You actually have to ask people to be civil, and yet at the same time, it's like, well, why would you have to ask some normal, decent human being to be civil? Just saying, right? So anyway.
Just one quick interjection here.
Okay.
I'm anticipating the question. Here you are. Well, you're talking about Roe v. Wade being overturned by the Supreme Court. What about? I thought you were about judges legislating for the bench and making law for the bench. Well, newsflash: Roe v. Wade, or the right to abortion, that's not a law anywhere. There's not a law in the books that gives a right to abortion. It was an interpretation of the law that there was no law against it, and which opened the floodgates for states. Well, it's there's this constitutional right somewhere, so to look at the law again and say, well, there's no law that allows it. Okay, there's no law in the books that prohibits. Well, actually, there is on some, but those were ruled unconstitutional somehow in 1973.
Well,
there aren't laws that allow it. There's laws that prohibit it, and so it would just be reinstating an interpretation that those states that outlaw it, they can still outlaw it.
Yeah. Well, the good news is she's a strict constitutionalist, so she actually cares about what the Constitution actually says. She doesn't believe it's a living and breathing document like the liberals do. And she was actually mentored by Antonin Scalia, who I still believe was murdered. Yeah. Just so you know. In fact, have you noticed that death? He died with a pillow over his face. How often does that happen, people? I mean, and have you noticed the media swept that?
He didn't want to wake anybody with the noise of him dying. So
yeah, well. Anyway, very interesting background. So, do you want to watch it now?
Yeah, but just one more quick thing. The abortion, political debate or whatever is similar to same-sex marriage.
Well, and that's where I'm hoping they turn that over.
There is no law on the books allowing same-sex marriage. There are plenty of laws in the books prohibiting same-sex marriage in 30-some states. But again, the Supreme Court decided, well, you can't do that. States, you can't say that.
Yeah, states' rights didn't matter, even though we talked about that.
Yeah. Anyway, so similar kind of thing. So this wouldn't be legislating from the bench and creating new laws.
No, and Amy has said that she won't legislate from the bench because that's not what they do. They interpret the law the way it should be in the context, of the Constitution.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I mean, maybe in our lifetime, when we're 90, we can see this overturned. Who knows? You never know. God has lots of stuff up his sleeve, right?
Yeah.
This is amazing. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and watch President Trump nominate Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court of the United States. And please comment during the comments, during the thingy comments, so we can read your comments.
Oh, Password looked like he was going to speak, but...
Oh. You gotta have the presidential music, people. There you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I stand before you today to fulfill one of my highest and most important duties under the United States Constitution, the nomination of a Supreme Court Justice. This is my third such nomination after Justice Gorsuch and Justice Kavanaugh, and it is a very proud moment indeed. Over the past week, our nation has mourned the loss of a true American legend. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a legal giant and a pioneer for women. Her extraordinary life and legacy will inspire Americans for generations to come. Now we gather in the Rose Garden to continue our never-ending task of ensuring equal justice and preserving the impartial rule of law. Today it is my honor to nominate one of our nation's most brilliant and gifted legal minds to the Supreme Court. She is a woman of unparalleled achievement, towering intellect, sterling credentials, and unyielding loyalty to the Constitution, Judge Amy Coney Barrett. We're also joined by Amy's husband, Jesse. Thank you, Jesse, very much. And their 7 beautiful children. Congratulations to you all. Very special day.
After 15 months, U.S. Attorney John Durham, who was
Hey, we are not Fox News people. We are better than them. Yeah, we are.
Okay.
It's just 2 of us here. Don't worry. It was on YouTube or something. You know how they are, those liberals over on YouTube. Anyway, don't worry. Something happened. We're having technical difficulties. Pretend there's a thing that says, beep, beep, there's a technical difficulty. It's not really. It's incompetence on our behalf. I don't know what happened. But, oh, you're pulling up CNBC, huh?
It was right at the top of the list.
Mm.
And you can't hear me, so.
Oh, wait, hold on. I can turn up your mic. I turned down our mic so we could talk privately. So
Yes.
so you wouldn't. And now it's time for a foot joke.
All right. Ready?
Just kidding about the foot joke. Okay.
Which is a good thing. To be kidding about it.
Longtime audience members will know why that's funny. Anyway, Go on.
Gotta make sure we got some. Yeah, here we go.
All right. Here we go. Take
I
2.
am so grateful to you and the First Lady, to the Vice President and the Second Lady, and to so many others here for your kindness on this rather overwhelming occasion. I fully understand that this is a momentous decision for a president. And if the Senate does me the honor of confirming me, I pledge to discharge the responsibilities of this job to the very best of my ability. I love the United States, and I love the United States Constitution. I am truly humbled by the prospect of serving on the Supreme Court. Should I be confirmed, I will be mindful of who came before me. The flag of the United States is still flying at half-staff in memory of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg to mark the end of a great American life. Justice Ginsburg began her career at a time when women were not welcome in the legal profession. But she not only broke glass ceilings, she smashed them. For that, she has won the admiration of women across the country and indeed all over the world. She was a woman of enormous talent and consequence, and her life of public service serves as an example to us all. Particularly poignant to me was her long and deep friendship with Justice Antonin Scalia, my own mentor. Justices Scalia and Ginsburg disagreed fiercely in print without rancor in person. Their ability to maintain a warm and rich friendship, despite their differences, even inspired an opera. These two great Americans demonstrated that arguments, even about matters of great consequence, need not destroy affection. In both my personal and professional relationships, I strive to meet that standard. I was lucky enough to clerk for Justice Scalia, and given his incalculable influence on my life, I am very moved to have members of the Scalia family here today, including his dear wife, Maureen. I clerked for Justice Scalia more than 20 years ago, but the lessons I learned still resonate. His judicial philosophy is mine too. A judge must apply the law as written. Judges are not policymakers, and they must be resolute in setting aside any policy views they might hold. The President has asked me to become the 9th Justice, and as it happens, I'm used to being in a group of 9, my family. Our family includes me, my husband Jesse, Emma, Vivian, Tess, John Peter, Liam, Juliet, and Benjamin. Vivian and John Peter, as the President said, were born in Haiti, and they came to us 5 years apart when they were very young. And the most revealing fact about Benjamin, our youngest, is that his brothers and sisters unreservedly identify him as their favorite sibling. Our children obviously make our life very full. While I am a judge, I'm better known back home as a room parent, carpool driver, and birthday party planner. When schools went remote last spring, I tried on another hat. Jesse and I became co-principals of the Barrett e-Learning Academy. And yes, the list of enrolled students was a very long one. Our children are my greatest joy, even though they deprive me of any reasonable amount of sleep. I couldn't manage this very full life without the unwavering support of my husband, Jesse. At the start of our marriage, I imagined that we would run our household as partners. As it has turned out, Jesse does far more than his share of the work. To my chagrin, I learned at dinner recently that my children consider him to be the better cook.
Randall's better cook here.
For 21 years, Jesse has asked me every single morning what he can do for me that day. And though I almost always say nothing, he still finds ways to take things off my plate. And that's not because he has a lot of free time. He has a busy law practice. It's because he is a superb and generous husband, and I am very fortunate. Jesse,
I wonder if he steals food from her plate. Just curious. He is a better cook, you know.
Jesse and I have a life full of relationships, not only with our children, but with siblings, friends, and fearless babysitters, one of whom is with us today. I am particularly grateful to my parents, Mike and Linda Coney. I have spent the bulk of my adulthood as a Midwesterner, but I grew up in their New Orleans home. And as my brother and sisters can also attest, Mom and Dad's generosity extends not only to us, but to more people than any of us could count. They are an inspiration. It is important at a moment like this to acknowledge family and friends. But this evening, I also want to acknowledge you, my fellow Americans. The President has nominated me to serve on the United States Supreme Court, and that institution belongs to all of us. If confirmed, I would not assume that role for the sake of those in my own circle, and certainly not for my own sake. I would assume this role to serve you. I would discharge the judicial oath which requires me to administer justice without respect to persons, do equal right to the poor and rich, and faithfully and impartially discharge my duties under the United States Constitution. I have no illusions that the road ahead of me will be easy, either for the short term or the long haul. I never imagined that I would find myself in this position. But now that I am, I assure you that I will meet the challenge with both humility and courage. Members of the United States Senate, I look forward to working with you during the confirmation process, and I will do my very best to demonstrate that I am worthy of your support. Thank you.
CNBC. Their footage. We hawked it, people. Okay, anyway, so here's the thing. Okay, so let me add a couple more things about her. I guess Randall didn't think we needed to watch President Trump. Anyway, whatever, it's okay. Haven't we all had enough of him over the last couple of days? Anyway, so here is the thing. She currently serves on the Chicago-based 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. She's 48 years old, and when she's confirmed, she will be the youngest justice ever to sit on the Supreme Court. And I think that's pretty cool. And also, at Notre Dame, she was named the Distinguished Professor of the Year 3 times, and she's taught constitutional law, civil procedure, evidence, federal courts, constitutional theory, seminar, and statutory interpretation seminar, and she continues to teach. And I think I could see her as a teacher. Yeah, I could. All right, and then Matt Staver from Liberty Counsel, he said, Amy Coney Barrett is the right choice for the U.S. Supreme Court because she applies the intent and text of the Constitution to the statutes she reviews. A judge should be a neutral interpreter of the Constitution who knows what it means to interpret and apply the law rather than an activist legislature who tries to create the law, which is what most of the liberals are on the court. He didn't say that part. I added that part. It's interesting to me, too. I will say this is something that stood out to me. Now, she is a Catholic, which means she's religious, okay? Doesn't necessarily mean she's a Christian. I don't believe, what stood out to me in her little speech there was as she thanked her friends and her family, and then all of us, the American people, she did not thank God, which I find very interesting. Just a note, I watch for that stuff. The Christian right is 100% behind her, as they are President Trump. I am not 100% behind any person, just so you know. But, cautiously optimistic that at least Trump is better than the alternative, if you know what I mean, just so you know. And as you guys know, people like John Roberts, who is on the Supreme Court, they can flip-flop and rule wrongly, you know what I mean? And that's what they've done. He did. Scoundrel. Anyway, so we never know. The Bible says that God, turns the heart of the king, right? And, this woman is highly admirable. I mean, first of all, she's a mother of 7 children. And she's the oldest of 7 children. So, I mean, just saying. In one of the interviews I saw her, she actually said that she got an A-, I think it was, in French, and she was so upset that she decided to minor in college in that because she wasn't perfect, which is pretty typical of a type A overachiever firstborn personality. So she's highly driven. And, and to use today's vernacular, she's probably quite the badass. And if I was her internally, I might be going, look at me, I'm a badass. I'm like the first youngest girl, in all this. And check this out. They're going to drag me through the mud, but I'm going to be on the court. I'm going to replace the flaming liberal that just died. Just saying. I mean, nobody would say that out loud though. But one of the things I was thinking when I was watching this was, I wonder what she's thinking. Wouldn't it be neat if in moments like that, there's a cloud over the person's head and it had text you could read, like what they were thinking? Well, anyway, just remember that as Christians, we don't put our hope in chariots or horses, but we put our hope in God, in Jesus Christ, and Him alone. In fact, today it was kind of funny. I was on Facebook and somebody I don't know very well in my Legal Shield, you know, world, they wrote, write one word about, you know, what you could talk about anything. And I thought about it and I thought, do I really need to, should I say the first word that popped into my mind? And I thought, what the heck? And so I put Jesus Christ. And I'm looking at this woman's comments on everybody else's, and mine's just completely ignored. So I'm just saying, all right, Jesus, he's the answer. And you know, he's on the move, right? I mean, the Lord's on the move. I actually just tweeted over on my Stacey Harp Twitter account, Dr. Michael Brown, who wrote this. I'll just read you this tweet. And then I know Randall wants to talk about 5G. But Dr. Michael Brown, he tweeted, so Ruth Bader Ginsburg passes away at the beginning of the Jewish New Year as the shofar blast is heard, and Amy Coney Barrett is announced as her replacement as shofars were being blasted at the return event in D.C., watched by tens of millions globally. Coincidence? Who knows? We don't know. Bareface, what do you think? And what do you guys think? Did you like her speech? Do you think she's gonna fill this spot and the world is going to change for the right and the better? Do you really even care? That's my question. All right. Oh, it looks like Ivan's son is being muted over on YouTube.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I don't know. Anyway, hey, just so you know, blah 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 is the comment. I see it. So, okay.
Supreme Court is lying with Catholics and Jews?
Kind of makes you wonder what's going on. Well, it is interesting. But anyway.
It is.
What do you think?
Well, it's interesting. I was thinking, well, you know, Trump was saying about, you know, he's kind of drops hints about being a easy confirmation process. And, you know, it's like, okay, conservatives, where are the progressives, you know, going to attack her on? Or they're going to say, well, she's a mother and, you know, she can have a career and be a mother. I mean, that would be antithetical to their position, so they're not going to attack her on that. But apparently she's got affiliations with this group, People of Praise, which is some religious group, and you know, which apparently talks about wives submitting to their own husbands, and so I
submit therefore to Bareface.
That, you know, they're gonna pull that card out, and I'm sure gonna.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, people who look.
But you know, Catholics and Jews. I mean,
I'm Jewish.
I
Can't you tell by my nose? That's the part of me that's Jewish, is my nose.
You know, I ultimately wouldn't care if they were Baha'i or Buddhist, especially if they were originalists. You know, strict constitutionalists. You know, understanding original intent.
Yeah.
English hasn't changed that much since 1789. And
right, should I read some comments here?
Sure.
Okay. So Danny says, first of all, Natasha's laughing and gave me a super heart. Wow, this is our super heart night.
I guess.
You guys love me. All right. Danny says, I know I certainly care because this is a choice and confirmation for our time and generation, and it's imperative that we see it from a holistic perspective. You're right, Stacey. It is important. I agree. And someone will find something on her and blow it out of proportion. Yeah, and then Danny says to Natasha, of course, and the liberals always will, and it's their modus operandi. Yeah, I mean, the liberals are all about ad hominem attack. I mean, they don't think critically at all. And Nancy says, don't have to look too far. All she is supposed to uphold the Constitution without religious bias. Yeah, and I think she's been very careful. I mean, maybe that's why she didn't mention God, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she didn't say God. But I do know that Catholics are religious. And not all I mean, I do believe some Catholics are Christians, that they're really truly born again. I don't believe all Catholics are, because I think that some don't understand. They've never heard the gospel.
And I don't believe all Christians
are.
Christians.
Yeah, well,
You know,
that's kind of obvious.
are understand that, you know, salvation by grace alone, through faith alone, in Christ alone.
I will tell you, it's interesting. You said that they'll look into her background. So it was probably earlier this year. It might have been last year. I got a phone call from a journalist up in Sacramento or the San Francisco area. And they called me out of the blue wanting to know why I paid this guy. And I can't even think of who it was.
Some candidate for some
Yeah,
office.
it was like $700 or something like that. And I seriously couldn't remember. I honestly couldn't remember, like, who is that guy that they're talking about? And I was thinking about it. And anyway, long story short, I kind of got like this feeling like this is a load of crap that this person was calling about. He was just trying to find dirt. And I said, I don't even remember. And I truly didn't remember. Anyway, after I got off the phone, I went to Twitter and Googled the journalist, found out flaming liberal homosexual activist journalist. And then I went through all my email because I've had Google forever, and I typed in the guy's name, and I was like, oh yeah, when I did social media, he came on my show, I interviewed him, and then he hired me to like promote a campaign or something. I don't know.
Oh, that right. That he paid you.
He paid me.
Yeah. So there was a.
But anyway, I bring that
Because
up
it was
because
over $600. There was a 1099. It's a matter of public record.
But it was crazy because that was like 12 or 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck? I can't remember what Randall did last week, let alone what I had for breakfast. What did I have for breakfast? Randall made me breakfast today.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Well,
And I burnt the bacon. I ran out of aluminum foil, so I thought, this is how my day started. So, you know, I try to eat bacon once a week because being Jewish, you know, I want to limit the pig. Anyway, and...
not eliminate, but
anyway...
moderate.
I bought this cheap aluminum foil and I was out of it, right? And Randall's like, well, we can put it on the, you know, the baking sheet. So I did. I put it in there for 19 minutes at 400 degrees and never had any problem until today, people. My dog Grover enjoyed a lot of bacon this morning because it was mostly burnt. Not that that had anything to do with anything. No. All right. So Randall wanted to talk about 5G weather concerns.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought
last 10 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've found this.
30
article.
minutes at 3:50. Is that what you're saying, Nancy? That's okay. Well, on the package. Well, anyway.
Anyway, let's see. Did I?
I personally prefer microwaving my bacon, but Randall was, you know.
Well, I didn't.
I know.
I don't have a lower third prepared for it, but anyway.
That's okay.
But on studyfinds.org, just so you know. Okay. There's this article I thought was interesting. I won't read the whole thing, but just kind of the beginning. Studyfinds.org, they report that 5G wireless radiation leakage may lead to incorrect weather forecasts, study warns. And basically, read the first paragraph, and I'll skip down the pertinent stuff, that high-tech 5G networks are here and will likely be the new standard in wireless communications in the near future. For people who love to check the weather on their smartphone, however, that new signal may actually be a problem. A new study finds radiation leakage from 5G networks may throw off weather satellites, giving you a bad forecast. And so, yeah. The models show if 5G signals leak between minus 15 and minus 20 decibel watts of power, they will likely throw off both weather readings being temperature and moisture. Researchers say that much leakage can shift the accuracy of precipitation measures by up to 0.9 millimeters and ground temperatures by 2.34 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're thinking like, oh, well, so what? The forecast, the temperature readings, if you look at it, it's off, a little over 2 degrees. And the precipitation that's been reported is, off by 0.9 millimeters. Who cares? It's close to what the weather is. But it's not the current weather conditions that are the concern, reporting the weather condition. It's the forecast. Rutgers Wireless Information Network Laboratory, WinLab, used computer modeling to look out at how 5G leakage would alter the forecast for the 2008 Super Tuesday tornado outbreak in the Midwest. The leakage occurs when radiation transmitter crosses into an adjacent radio frequency band. Anyway, because it impedes the weather sensors to measure water vapor and temperature, that it can throw off predicting things like tornadoes and stuff like that. So the forecasting part, because if the temperatures and the moisture are significant things, and apparently 5G, when there's a lot of 5G activity in an area, it can throw off the satellite's ability to measure those two things, which can lead to bad forecasts. And if it's in the case of not being able to give a tornado warning or something like that.
Like what happened in our area when the tornado hit our house?
Yeah, we didn't have a warning, anything like that.
We literally had a tornado come up our house and rip off stuff on our house.
The jury's still out whether it was
I believe it was a tornado.
Tornado or straight line winds. Well, these straight line winds were rotating.
Like a tornado, yeah.
Rotating and,
well, considering it hit and damaged half the houses on our street.
Yeah, and I saw stuff getting sucked up into the air and spinning.
I was like, I'm seeing a line, and I had to, anyway.
Anyway, so, yeah, I found that interesting. 5G, people have been concerned about health concerns, whatever, but here are
you guys worried about 5G? Are you guys worried? Can you hear me still?
There's no, I don't see any reversing it because all the money's behind it, and it just plays into everything. Because 5G works in a different way because it's the higher frequency band. It's directional, and so it can be rather than being radiated from cell, it can be directed directly to a device. A straight line signal to device, and that's one of the reasons it could have higher bandwidth, because the beam of carrying the information can be exclusive to the device that is exchanging information with they're both transmitters. Your phone is a transceiver, is a transmitter and receiver, and so are the mobile repeaters. So the transceivers on both ends can be, the connection between them can be more or less exclusive in their usage, which allows for the higher bandwidth. But there may be some health concerns about that. Some people say maybe promotes cancer, stuff like that, and your weather forecast can be bad, but you can get your data faster.
Danny said, I'm worried about it from a wearable virtual reality headset point of view. It's interesting you should bring that up because, Second Life is actually a very popular world, right? And actually, virtual reality is very freaky. A couple of years ago, when the new virtual reality mask things came out, the goggles or whatever, I told Randall I want one because, I don't get much. I mean, I really don't. I'm not a big, I have to do this. But anyway, I got one of these things. And I
not Oculus or anything like that. The cheap kind you drop your phone into.
It was $50.
And plug your the headphone jack into.
I used Google, whatever it was called. Google
Cardboard.
Yeah, Cardboard. And anyway, I put that thing in there, and I was in this virtual reality world for, 20 minutes or so. And it was kind of weird because it's like, oh my gosh, you really do feel like you're in there. And then after I got this thing, I took it off. I had a really hard time adjusting back to where I was because it was like, whoa. And it was really, really freaky.
I get motion sickness. A couple times I tried it.
But
I
it
just-
freaked me out because I was like, that was just so weird. And it was literally something simple. So I was like, nope. So I should be selling that soon on Facebook Marketplace.
yeah, it just, yeah,
My phone is too big for it now because
I got motion sickness because, because your eyes are telling you one thing and your body knows you're not moving.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah,
so
because of the
just-
roller coasters and stuff.
Or just
Kinda funny. Woo!
anything you're supposed to,
Yeah.
move through or anything like that,
Yeah.
either, or even, to walk through. Maybe it's because the cheap kind. Maybe if it was the expensive Oculus thing, it'd be different. But
What it tells you, though, is that you really can be disconnected from your body.
I guess, I don't know.
Eventually, your body's going to die and you're going to be disconnected from it.
I
But,
was not
yeah,
impressed.
it is immersive. It's very immersive.
Not my experience.
In my
but-
experience, it completely was, which is why it freaked me out. And I'm like, no. I mean, it's so pretty in this fish world because I was in one with fish and stuff. And I'm like, no. And I liked it, but I was like, getting out was like, I'm like, no, I don't think so. Mm-mm. So,
And the other thing I want to touch on, there's several articles out there. You can just
are you going to talk for 3 more minutes and do an hour show, or are you going to do a 90-minute show?
no. I'm just gonna just another 1 more minute from me here. I'm just saying, use DuckDuckGo, Google, whatever, start page, whatever your search engine is. Look up AstraZeneca and vaccine trials. Basically, some are reporting that one guy in the UK got some mystery illness. Other outlets reporting more than one person that got mystery illnesses, something similar to multiple sclerosis, and as part of these vaccine trials for the coronavirus, or for the novel coronavirus 19. And so, but Europe is going ahead with the AstraZeneca vaccine trials, but the FDA in the US, they put a halt on it.
Because they care more about us.
Yeah. But then, so it's interesting, and then you can read about a deal that AstraZeneca is doing with Samsung Biologics to the tune of $331 million. Anyway, interesting stuff. All right, I'm done. There's my minute.
I will say that, the new COVID regulations that I was just handed because of assisted living, my dad's assisted living place. Here's the new 3-page guidelines. So they're introducing, in case you don't know, they are now introducing what they're calling an essential caregiver. And in order to be an essential caregiver to your loved one in assisted living, they are going to require you to do a COVID test. And I would be in that category, right? I would be the essential caregiver. Not happy. I'm not happy about that. Don't you guys think that you shouldn't have to have a COVID test if you are medically opposed to it? If you don't have any symptoms whatsoever, following the line of BS that you could be a carrier and there's no symptoms, and maybe it's not BS, but still, it's like, in order now for me to see my dad, I have to have the COVID test. That's just so annoying to me. It's so irritating. Pray for me because I am not happy, and I will be contacting my lawyer Monday to find out what Legal Shield can tell me about this. Which, by the way, reminds me, just forgot. I almost remembered. I just remembered because I almost forgot. If you want to support the show, BibleNewsRadio.com/give is where you can donate to Heart Tug International, which is the nonprofit that supports our show here. You can do that. Your gift is tax deductible. It helps feed our expenses, in order to keep us on the air. Or if you want to support us by becoming a Legal Shield or Identity Theft member, then you can contact me directly. I can send you information on that as well. And you can also join our text message list. You can join my email list too, but to be honest, I don't really email out much, so you'd be waiting quite a while to get an email from me. Of course, you can follow us on all social media platforms at Bible News Radio. And tomorrow night, Bareface, are you going to be continuing in Jude?
Yes, I am. Hopefully finishing it up.
I have not finished the book of Jude yet in my Bible study, but Randall might beat me to it tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, please come back. Yes, please come back. And if you're not in my Daily Disciples Facebook group, you can also join that, where we're reading the Bible together every single day. So, and I will see if I can copy and paste that. But thanks for that link. Tweet that out if you can. Can you tag me in that at Bible News Radio on Twitter, or on my name, Stacy Harp? Anyone looking on how to COVID-19 impedes? Oh my gosh, yeah. Don't even get me started. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so you can tweet me there. You can also email me through my website, or you can email me at my name, stacyharp@gmail.com. I get all my email there. Trying to think if there's anything else. There's always something. But the most important thing is remember to pray. Pray without ceasing. And, God's will is going to be done either way. And look for his glorious appearing. Because he's coming back. And I think that, there's a lot going on with people. And I think now more than ever, we need to be praying for the lost. Not because of this election, but because I really do believe that the time is short, and we need to be praying that the Lord, that those who are truly seekers can find the Lord, because Jesus is their peace. He's going to be their peace, and that's what people are looking for. So do that, and as I always say, be bold, people. Stand up and go with God. And also, I will add, if you order from DoorDash, give your driver a big tip. Just so you know, we did Dash today, and it was very interesting. I should write a blog about that. But anyway, we'll talk to you tomorrow, Lord willing, right here on Bible News Radio. Thanks for tuning in.